Could you speak on a little bit how it's like being the mayor of Atlantic City and working with the state government, and also if you could just shed a little light on your experience of being the mayor of Atlantic City during Superstorm Sandy?
There are 556 municipalities in the state of New Jersey, and I don't think that any of them are forced to withstand the assault that comes from state government, as Atlantic City is oftentimes put in a position to have to do. Atlantic City is an economic engine for the region, but not only the region, in fact the state. Tourism happens to be the second leading industry in the state of New Jersey, and Atlantic City in that regard is the straw that stirs the drink, the goose that laid the golden egg, if you will. And so there are always and continually these outside forces looking to gain control of Atlantic City so that they can control the resources, jobs, contracts, and just general policy, that has a lot to do with how the state fares. And so there are those who are always continually trying to dictate what should happen in Atlantic City, and on those occasions when they can't convince you to see things their way, then they resort to other methods, sometimes unscrupulous methods, to try and wrest control and seize control of the city of Atlantic City. I think Hurricane Sandy was a case in point where you saw this constant conflict going back and forth between the governor and the mayor. We were constantly under attack, being accused of things that just simply was not true. In fact, let me stop being polite. We were deliberately lied on, all in an effort to try and shape public opinion against the city of Atlantic City, so that when they decide to make their next move to try and come over, then that there would be not the sympathy that you might expect for our own sovereignty. We assert our right of self-governance just like the other 555 municipalities throughout the state. And as long as I am the mayor of the city of Atlantic City, we will continue to fight for our right to govern ourselves.
Okay, just to close, how would you say the city has fared after Hurricane Sandy, and going into the summer, how do you think we're going to do?
I'd like to think of our glass as being half full and not half empty. As catastrophic as Superstorm Sandy was, the first thing we have to continually remind ourselves of is that there was no loss of life and no serious bodily injury. And again, when you consider the catastrophic nature of that storm, it's a miracle that we came through this thing relatively unscathed. Now, in terms of property, a lot of property in the public sector was destroyed and compromised, and 5,600 homes were damaged, including my own. We had a foot of water in my house. I've been over here 25 years. It's the first time since I've been here that I've ever had water in my house, and just like everybody else, we were displaced for a time. The point, though, that I would like to stress is that at least we still have homes to go back to. Those of us who are lucky enough to have insurance have been temporarily inconvenienced. It might take a month, it might take 3 months, it might take 6 months before we're able to be fully made whole. But the bottom line is at least we still have homes that we can go back to. You look at other places along the coast of New Jersey and even in New York, where entire communities were destroyed, homes were washed out to sea, and people basically were left with nothing. So comparatively speaking, we came through this thing relatively unscathed, and as I said, I'd like to think of our glass as being half full and not half empty.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.